all having a wonderful, wonderful day. We almost, well, we got a sprinkle last night. It's been dry here in Florida, boy. But every April we go through this, and then, May we just get, we get killed with rain, which is fine because, we have a well, so, we have to kind of live off that. Yeah, I'm giving you a little boot. Come on, let's go. Taking the girls for their morning walk, and I wanted to clear up some comments. I had made some comments, and then of course people just get offended because if you don't say what they want to hear, um, you know, and I think that's one of the biggest problems is that people don't have an open mind and don't listen. They don't listen. Matter of fact, one person goes, "Well, your analogy to a soccer game. Who grabs a ball and runs 110 yards for a touchdown in soccer? Can you tell me that one? Because if you do, I'll be quite shocked." But I had quoted something from Harlan Ellison about his vision of God. Okay, and it just made me think. Okay, anything that anybody says should make you think, whether it makes you uncomfortable or not. Were those comments, did they make me uncomfortable? They sure did. Okay, when I heard him, and I think when he said them, he was later in life too. He's been gone for a bit, I believe. But I suggest that you go on YouTube and you look up Harlan Ellison. He was one of the greatest writers of all time. Him, Ray Bradbury. Um, uh, you can't discount the things that Rod Serling did, with Planet of the Apes and stuff. And they made you think. Okay. And while I don't agree with something that someone says, especially about God, because of my beliefs, I listen. And the biggest problem with people nowadays is we don't listen. We don't listen to each other. Play till it hurts. War Gaming Wanderlust, how are you? We don't listen. We don't take time to listen to somebody's viewpoint, even though we may hideously disagree with it. Okay? That person's totally wrong. Well, maybe you think they're wrong, but they're right in their hearts. Okay? And some of the comments that were made, and I'm just like, you didn't listen to what I said. This was a viewpoint that somebody gave, and I found it kind of interesting on how they perceived God. Okay? Or their way of looking at it. And I suggest you go on YouTube and you look up Harlan Ellison. What are these two getting into? And listen to some things, because there's a lot of things I love his writings and things like that. Come on. You wouldn't have had the Terminator without him. Get out of there. Let's go. His story, actually he sued Cameron because Cameron took it from one of his stories and created the Terminator. Okay. And it was actually his idea. And he was just a very interesting dude. Foul mouth. His perception of fans, was something that you went, wow. Here's people that really just want to honor you, and you just look at it like, what are you doing? Leave me alone type of thing. And I always found that kind of interesting in a lot of ways, because I've always had different views as far as how I wanted to be perceived from people, because of the experiences I had with Marv Wolfman and John Byrne, where I've had some negative experiences with people that, I've read their works, or I idolized, and never meet your heroes, I guess, that old saying, it always comes true. And this, some of the comments that I got were just so, so wrong, and didn't understand what I was saying. My beliefs are my beliefs, okay? And I have a very strong religious background, and I guess that's from my Polish mother. And what I believe is what I believe, okay? But it doesn't mean that I will close my mind off to what people say. Okay? I don't have to agree with it, but people should have the right to voice their opinion. Yeah, go ahead, bark. She knows I'm right. People. Hey, Ernie Kusaka? Huh, how are you? People should have the right to say what they want. Okay, believe what they want. Okay, we are not a singular identity. Okay, people have different thoughts, people have different beliefs, and they should be allowed to have those beliefs. If they make you uncomfortable, give people space, but don't judge a human being on just what they may believe. Okay, there's good in everybody, there's bad in everybody too. Nobody's perfect. And this is the problem with society nowadays, is that if you don't follow along with if you are not an extreme leftist and believe this, that, and the other, or if you're not a hardcore right conservative, then you're wrong, and people become violent. And you have to believe what I believe. Oh, that's what they want. They want the division. They want you guys at each other's throats, because whatever identity is causing a lot of this, especially in the media, okay, left or right, okay, is they cause divide. And there's always been a thing in warfare: divide and conquer. You're going to pee on the turtle's hole. Well, that's really impressive. Dumb dogs. I just think there is no discussion in America anymore. Divisiveness is clickbait. It sure is. I 110% believe that. And these young people are going to have to figure it out, because they're certainly not going to listen to an old fart like myself. Just like I didn't listen to, my father or anybody. I thought, they looked at me like I was crazy. Well, maybe I was at the time. Let's go. Come on. Away from the gate. Oh. We start to wander. Come on, let's go. Bella, get out of the bushes. Sorry. But these things just drive me insane. Everybody should have a voice, okay? Whether you agree with it or not. Supposedly, we're supposed to be free people, okay? With free thought, okay? And we're not always going to agree with somebody's thought, but we can take something from everything that everybody says, okay? If we wholeheartedly disagree with what somebody says, we could take something from that and go, this just confirms how I feel even more, okay? Or maybe that somebody will come up with something that maybe you don't see, and they'll talk and they'll discuss. And what you'll come up with, come on, Gab, is, wow, while I don't agree with that, some of those points make sense and make me think. It's a problem. We don't think anymore. You know what we think with? The thing I'm holding in my hand, okay? And until we start becoming a people of all different types of cultures, races, and things, and consider everyone a human being, instead of, we need to eradicate this, and this doesn't belong in schools. Well, you know something? Everybody should have a right to believe whatever they want to believe, okay? And if you want to protest peacefully, you have that right. Come on, Gab. And you should. But we don't do that. If we're so against something that somebody believes or that somebody's doing, we seek to destroy that, okay? The only thing that seems to be really inherent is violence now. Violence and destruction. I mean, who heard of the word Karen? You know, that was just the name of a girl back in days. Now you have Karens that are just insane. The smarter the phone, the dumber people become. It is. The better technology, the better technology becomes, the lesser we become as 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 a free thought human. Maybe that's the wrong way to put it, but I think you get what I'm trying to say. And this is the scary part, because there's been movies made about it and everything, and we don't learn. We don't learn anything. You know, we don't even try. We don't even try. Harlan Ellison was a brilliant writer. Do I agree with his views on religion? Absolutely not. But when he said certain things, it made me think. I go, well, you know something? When you get to your point, and I didn't understand what he was trying to say until I've got to that age. Okay? I've gotten to this elderly age where my mortality is in front of me. Okay? Because when you're young, you think you're indestructible. Okay? You run into walls. You know, you do dumb shit and put your body at incredible risk, or yourself at risk. And you want to know something? You pay for it, because right now, man, every bone in my body hurts from all the shit I've done. And here we are. You know, here we are. And we don't think anymore. We don't open our minds. You know, one of the reasons I play board games is so I use, you know, that gray matter and stuff like that. And I think, you know, more people need to do that. But if you don't adhere to a certain type of belief in the board game community, okay, if you're not an extreme leftist, well, guess what? They're going to shove it down your throat. Oh, don't watch his channel. Okay. So you take things and you bring it into even people's hobbies, into people's sports, into every aspect of people's lives. Will you two move it? Let's go. Come on. That's my girls. And it's stupid. It's stupid. We all need to find our own way. And yet, you know, as I was saying before I got off track, is when I hear his words that I've heard him say 1,000 times, now all of a sudden I go, well, boy, what if at the end of the road there isn't this thing that I hold dear to my heart? You know, you start to wonder, and yet I look to the sky, and I talk to my mom, my uncle, my father-in-law, and you know, I hold, one of the key things that you can ever have is hope. Hope is one of the most important things, if not the greatest thing. Uh-oh. My son's getting in a fight with the rooster. He does not like that rooster one bit. I don't think that rooster's going to make it. I just heard him yell. And I feel like everyone needs this kind of event in life. Well, yeah, you do. I really think you do. You come to a crossroads in life, and you have to be able to, you know, my dog's old. What am I going to do without this dog? You know, and I asked my mom, I go, Mom, you know, when she goes, can you watch her until I get there? You know, that's something in me. That's the hope I have, because this dog has been my best friend. Both these dogs have been everything to me, even though she's eating a stupid root right now. Stop eating that, you damn fool. You know, everywhere I go, it's always been me and this pup. And now, you know, here she is coming up on 11. And that's hard to handle. It really is. It's hard to handle mortality. And, you listen to things, and you just, like I said, you hope, you pray, and you believe in what you believe. And if somebody believes in something totally different, well, that's okay. It's not to sit there and start screaming at them, well, you're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong for what you believe in because I believe this. Really? Really? Do any of us? Uh, Humans are the most stupidest thing I've ever seen. Oh, what's that? Um, because we think we're the one true being in the entire universe. There's only us. Okay? And of course people, yeah, I'm gonna put on my aluminum foil hat. But we're the only creature on this planet that'll deceive, lie, manipulate, hate as much as we do. Even though another animal kills another animal, they don't hate that animal. It's about survival. And that's why they kill. Okay? It's to eat. And you know something, Robert? To get off subject, this is the only dog I've ever had. And, I think about this all the time as she gets older. And she's been part of this channel since the very beginning. And I'm getting older too. I look back at those early, I was looking back at some early videos, and the 10 years and how I've changed in those 10 years. Will you get out of there? Okay, what's in that? Okay, get out of there. Oh my God, you two. I don't know what the hell you're getting into, but these kids are leaving stuff. Ugh. All right, come on. Come on. Get moving. My dogs. I live in a multiverse, so everybody's right somewhere. Yeah. If only that were true, right? If only we lived in a multiverse. If only we can control time. But we are given a certain amount. We don't know how much. And what we do with it is up to us. Okay? And it's true. It should always be up to us. We shouldn't be controlled by anybody. Oh, we got a little airport. Biplane. Wow. I haven't seen one of those. But, what you do from here on, and what you do and what you decide to do with what I say is up to you. You can totally ignore what I say, or you can take something from it, a little something from it. I think that's why I do this sometimes. Okay? Somebody goes, Rob, do you really hate this channel? No, I don't hate it. I just, they said, oh, do you care? Do you really don't care about the channel? No, I don't, because it's not the most important thing in my life. The most important thing in my life is my family. Am I blessed to have, people such as you that tune in? Oh, I'm very blessed. I'm very, very blessed. Okay? A lot of you are just wonderful, wonderful people. And the reason I keep on doing this is because you guys are a lot of you are wonderful, good people. Okay? And I feel a connection with some of you, not in a weird way, but I think you know what I'm trying to say. And, I have things to say, things to show you, things to help you. I hope I do. Okay? That's all I can ever ask. But do I really give a shit if I'm, the second coming on this stupid platform? No. I enjoy it because I can branch out to a world that I never dreamed would be possible. I could talk to somebody in the Netherlands. I could talk to somebody in China, in Chile, in South America. Okay? all at the same time and get their viewpoints and expand my thought process and my mind just as much as I hope I can maybe touch yours. That's what this is really all about in a lot of ways. Showing you my world, my hobbies, my things, my pups, my family, my cows, my farm, how I live, how I do things, and learning from you as well. The world is an incredible place, and yet we close our eyes to it. Let people be different. Let people be special. Let people be all the things that they are, because you can learn so much from each and every person. And if we took that and we took that kind of philosophy and applied it to our lives, I think this planet would be a lot better place. All right, time for me to get going, getting to understand what you are talking about. You don't know me. That's a great name. I love it. All right, guys, we'll be back live on Thursday, again, as we always are. And look at this silly pup. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're laying in the dirt after you just got a bath. Foolish pup. You foolish pup. All of you, have a wonderful day. And until next time, it's your old pal Rob. We'll see you soon, everybody.